Hi artists, I miss you so much. I hope you're really enjoying these leaf-inspired compositions, and I'm sure they're turning out amazing. I wish I could see them all. Today you're going to be finishing them up. This is our last and final day to choose some background colors. So I want you to listen carefully. I'm going to give you some of my expert art teacher tips and tricks. So listen carefully so you can make some great choices about your leaf composition so they turn out amazing. And I hope you enjoyed working on them, and I hope you enjoyed this last day. Make sure you work slowly and carefully so you can finish with your very best work, and I can't wait to see it. So today, your job is going to be to decide the right material and the right colors for your background. And this is going to be the final day working on our zooming in on leaves composition. Hopefully you remember from our lesson last week that analogous colors are those colors that are neighbors on the color wheel. And if you would like to choose a grouping of analogous colors for your background, that would complement your leaves. So maybe choosing a different grouping of analogous colors to help your leaves remain the focal point and the kind of the star of the show, the star of your artwork. A great way to choose colors is by using the color wheel. And one thing that we know about the color wheel is that colors that are across from each other, directly across from each other, look great next to each other. They don't necessarily look great when they're mixed if we're using paint, but when you put them side by side, they complement one another, and that's why they're called complementary color combinations. So if you're not sure what color to use for your background, you could always look at what color you have most of on your leaf and then look opposite from it on the color wheel and find the complement to that color. It's time to choose materials again, this time for the background of your composition. Try not to make too big of a mess. Now it's time to experiment with a few different materials and see what one I choose for the background. So here we go. I wasn't crazy about the crayon, so now I'm going to try out some watercolor paints with some analogous colors as well. If I'm working with not so great quality paper, you're going to get a lot of rippling and like bumpiness to it, so that might bother you. If you have a nice thicker artist paper at home, then this won't happen as much. This is a cheaper piece of paper, so it's creating some kind of ripples and bumps, which is bothering me a bit, but I like the way that the colors are blending. Okay, we're gonna try another option here, which is, I'm still keeping these crayons on hand just in case. Set them off to the side and do a little testing with some colored pencils and see what I think about that. Now that I've got a good variety of different greens and a few blues, I'm gonna take a minute and go and sharpen them because they're all very in need of being sharpened. And that way when I'm trying it out, I don't have to stop and sharpen in between each color. So I'll be right back. All right, now for some more experimenting. I definitely don't need this many colors for my background. I'm only gonna pick maybe 2, maybe 3. I just need to go through and decide if this is the right material, and if so, which 2 or 3 I like the best. So the cool thing about colored pencils is they do give you a smoother feel than a crayon, and you can control how light or dark they are based on how hard you push. So if I take the same color and I push really hard, or medium, or light, we can create different values with that same color. I like that one. looks pretty good with my leaves. Let's try this guy. Ooh, that was a surprise. I didn't expect it to be so like a teal, like a blue-green almost. So hard, medium, light. This brand seems to be like a softer lead too. It's kind of fun to blend with. I kind of like that one. Actually, I kind of like this green blue, and this blue green I think the best. Bonus points for anyone who noticed I picked more analogous colors. I think I've got it narrowed down here. Let's get rid of the regular blue. And I think these are my winners, and I like the way that I can do some blending. So now I just have to decide how I want to fill in the space around the leaves. Do I want to follow the contours that are already there? By contours, I just mean kind of the outline of the leaves. Do I want to let that kind of guide how I'm filling it in? Or do I want to create maybe some directional lines where all of my coloring is horizontal? Or all of my coloring is kind of swirling spirals? Or all of my coloring is maybe wavy lines that go behind the leaves? Maybe blend between these three colors. I'm trying to think of what would really help those leaves to stand out most. And this is an artistic choice that you'll have to make for yours as well. So again, I always like to try things first. So just to get a better idea of how that could look, I'm just gonna do a little mini quick sketch of how that might be. So do I like the look of that feel of the wavy lines going behind? That might be nice because it reminds me kind of the wind, the fall wind kind of rushing through and blowing the leaves around. This could work. Kind of like that idea. Reminds me of the wind in the fall, kind of swishing and wishing through, you know, like the leaf tornadoes. I think this might be a winner now that I'm trying it. Yep, I think I'm gonna do some kind of wind-inspired lines. So, here we go. Go slow when you're close to the edges of your leaves, or you might have what I just had happen to you. I just colored with this teal onto my leaf, and even with an eraser, I'm able to lighten it up a little bit, but it's still there. It's kind of bugging me. So make sure you go slow along the edges, whatever material or medium that you're choosing to draw with. Okay, so now that I've shared all my tips and tricks on how to choose the right materials and the right colors for your composition, hopefully you have some great ideas. Maybe you've already even started working, and you're going to use whatever material that you choose is best for your picture. So maybe a different material than what you used for your leaves. We want to make the leaves kind of the star of the show. We want them to be the focal point of our art. So we don't want to do something too fancy in the background that will take away from all of our hard work on our leaves. Here's a great example of a focal point, or what we also know as emphasis in art. So we clearly see that the subject matter of the person on the boat and the fish in the water is the main focal point of the picture. That's what the artist is emphasizing. But the artist, Paul Klee, did a great job using his background colors to add a little interest but support that subject matter as the focal point. So our goals for today are to finish your leaves and your veins if you haven't done so already, by carefully starting with the lightest color in the center and working your way out to the darkest color at the edges of each leaf. Then choose a material and a plan for your background, and experiment first maybe on a separate paper on the back of your paper and find the material and the colors that you think are best and that allow your leaves to still remain the focal point of your art. And finally, you're going to finish and upload your artwork. So in order to do that, you're going to sign your artist signature either on the back or on the front lower corner of your picture. And then you may even choose to glue or mount it to a colored sheet of paper that helps it to stand out and kind of look a little bit more finished. And then take a nice photo of it and upload it to the Schoology art page. And as always, work slow and carefully on those leaves and the background. Be sure to go extra slow around the edges of the leaves so that you don't get unwanted material or colors onto the leaves themselves, that the color stays in the background. And this is our final day working on this project. So I would love to see, once you're finished, to take a nice photo and upload it to Schoology. There's a discussion that I posted where you can actually post a picture and share your artwork. So I would love to see you post it there, or send it to me through Schoology so I can see your finished product, since I don't get to see you in class anymore. I hope you have enjoyed this project, and I want you to work really hard. This is our last day, so use up the rest of this time to really take your time and do your best and finish these up. Here is a final picture of my leaf composition with the background added. And I chose to turn it a different direction because I liked the way that the wind felt like it was kind of swooping down and the leaves felt like they were swirling more. So that would be a final choice that you could make for your composition, is which way is up. Sometimes that can change, especially with a zoom in like this, because we're so close to the subject matter that this artwork could really be displayed in any direction. And if you have some special construction paper at home, maybe a certain color would look nice if you mounted your picture, your final picture, to that paper. So maybe even choose, if you have something like that at home, choose a color that would help everything kind of come together. And you know how I've had you in class before take your picture and maybe hold it up against different colored backgrounds to see which one really makes everything kind of come together and look complete. And of course, signing your signature somewhere on your artwork as well would be a final step. And once you have a nice photograph of your artwork just like this, please upload it to Schoology. I would love to see how these all turn out. All right, once again, I hope you enjoy, and I will see you next week with a new project. Have fun finishing up your fall leaf art, and don't forget to upload a photo of your artwork to your Schoology art page. If you look for the discussion called Share Your Art, you can upload a photo right to that, and that way other friends from class can comment on your artwork as well, and I get to see everyone's finished pieces. I can't wait.